Now, the Auditor-General has told Parliament that this remains a concern that hinders SAA's ability to guarantee continued operations. Transport economist Dr. Joachim Vermooten speaks to us now. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Vermooten. What exactly does this mean, especially for the business rescue process? What has been going on in terms of financial reporting at SAA?
Good evening, Dumisong and listeners or viewers. Well, this report is certainly very troubling, and it is actually regressed, as the summary was very accurate in reporting on this whole situation. So I think, on the first instance, a lot of money went into it during business rescue, 27.6 billion. That's quite a mouthful. And further money is probably also required. But it's been hampered by this whole situation with who's in charge, who calls the shots. A lot of positions have been left open for the new investor to fulfill or to make appropriate appointments. But due to the long period that is taking, nobody is actually put in place the normal corporate structures and management systems and people that are normally required with this type of size of business. And also, the industry in which it is a very difficult industry, very sensitive to all kinds of events. And it's very clear that there's no certainty in this company with regard to its future at this moment.
Speaking of certainty, what now happens with the procurement by Dagazo as a consortium for SAA?
Well, I believe that the Minister is busy briefing, or has briefed today, the Portfolio Committee, but it was in camera, so no public information or press were allowed. So it's still not clear what that position is. But if I can speak from the angle of the needs of an airline or a restart of an airline, it's very clear that it needs startup capital. Any new route is like a small little business in which you should expect, startup losses to emerge before you actually build up a sufficient volume of traffic at a sufficient rate to actually make it work and first break even and then to, turn into profits. You have to develop a profitable recipe that you can actually generate a gross margin and then replicate that in other areas. So if you just saturate a whole build-up of a new network, you are bound to incur further startup losses up to the point that it can actually stabilize, if it can.
Stabilizing is one that we'll have to watch with a keen interest, Dr. Vermooten, especially as I'm asking a parting shot here with regards to whether accountability can be sought from former executives. Every time there are irregularities, a CEO falls on his sword, and there have been too many changes there. The doors keep rotating.
Yes, well, at the end of the day, the executive authority is in charge. That's the minister and the department. And they should sort out these type of issues during the time prior to the control moving over to an equity partner. So, whether they, would like to have that responsibility or not, they have it, So as it stands at the moment, the executive authority, that's the minister, has to take responsibility. We haven't had proper responsibility from the business rescue group. The business rescue process wasn't completed, so it's still in a so-called receivership, so it's not been concluded. That has led to the position that you don't have a stable board in normal terms, or appointment of a stable board and a chief executive, etc. And of course, that has also been troubled by this trying to keep the positions open for the equity partner to decide, whilst the equity partnership transaction has not been finalized. So I think at a point, the executive authority should start making the decisions, because the operation is ongoing, and one needs to actually build confidence to actually get it on the right track.
Thank you so much for your input. Dr. Joachim Vermooten is a transport economist there, speaking to us about the latest developments out of SAA. There's concern about the financial position of that entity.